So hello, everybody, and welcome to our bi-weekly webinar series. My name is Ben Williamson, and I'm the project manager here at the Mountains and Plains Thriving Communities Collaborative, or what we call MAPTech, which is the EPA Region 8 Thriving Communities Technical Assistance Center, or the TICTACs, which some of you are likely familiar with. Region 8 includes Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, North Dakota, and South Dakota, as well as all of our Regions 28 federally recognized tribal nations. We recently launched, we started in mid-August, so we're brand new, but we are ready and able to start taking TA requests. Our goal at MAPTech is to support local and tribal governments, organizations, and disadvantaged communities in creating sustainable, healthy environments and addressing environmental justice concerns by helping them start, fund, and carry out locally driven projects for environmental and energy justice. So the administrative hub for MAPTech is here at Montana State University in Bozeman, Montana, but we are partnered with a wide range of groups, including today's host of our webinar, the Alliance for Tribal Clean Energy. So just wanted to note that this event is being recorded, and it will be available after the event on our YouTube page if you'd like to view it later or share it with others. And if you have questions, please use the chat bubble at the top of your screen to populate the chat with questions, and we will do our best to answer those questions during the Q&A at the end of the meeting. So that's all I have for MAPTech. I will hand it over to today's facilitator, Caleb Seeling, who is the Tribal Program Grants Manager at the Alliance for Tribal Clean Energy. We're really excited to have Caleb here and really excited to have the other speakers. And so with that, I'll hand it over to Caleb.
Thanks, Ben. Happy to be here. I'll share my screen real quick. Okay, so this is the 3 easy grants every tribe needs and ways to maximize opportunities to fund energy efficiency and climate resilience. Just real quick about the Alliance for Tribal Clean Energy. We are an Indigenous-led nonprofit organization that was founded in 2016 by Sherry Smith, who is of Mi'kmaq descent. And she is a clean energy leader with over 25 years of experience with renewables. And we have so many services that we provide, from grant writing and services to technical assistance with engineers and utility experience to finance and law, policy work. We do a bunch. The mission of the Alliance is to support the self-determined efforts of Native American tribes and Alaska Native villages to transition toward clean energy systems as a means to mitigate climate change, diminish poverty, and create thriving economies while protecting Mother Earth for future generations. We're so thrilled to host this. These 3, well, we're going to talk primarily about 2. I think all we're going to have time for is 2. Maybe I'll mention the 3rd grant in the end if we have a little bit of time. But the Home Energy Rebate Program and the Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant, or EECBG, are really 2 formula grants that every tribe ought to apply for. There's allocations for every tribe in both programs. So we'll start out with the Home Energy Rebate Program, and Lisa Serrano. I'll turn it over to you, Lisa, and you can introduce yourself and take it away. Thank you.
Well, good morning, folks. I was just looking at my time zone and where you're at. I'm in California, and it is 11 o'clock in the morning. My name is Lisa Serrano. I'm the project lead here at the Tribal Home Electrification and Appliance Rebate Program. I am a Paiute Chumash, born and raised here from the state of California. We're going to go ahead and let me share my slides. We're going to go ahead and go through this presentation, and I would like to provide some information of what is the Tribal Home Electrification and Rebate Program. What's part of the SCEP team, that's for sure, and we are thriving, meaning participating in as many outreaches events such as this that Kayla put together. We want to get the word out to the tribes and let them know what can we do to enhance tribal goals on tribal land. This is the Department of Energy has allocated $225 million to the tribe. An allocation, meaning it is a direct announcement. It is not a reimbursable grant. There is no upfront cost, and there's no cost match. It is also not competitive. It's an application process applying for the allocation amount that the tribe has been given. We will be providing an allocation sheet so the tribes can look up their amount to apply for the funding. The goal is to have the product installed in the tribal homes, where this is a formula grant, meaning 20-80, 20% admin, 80% would for product and installation. The goal, yes, it's to save money, improve comfort, and reduce indoor and outdoor air pollution, and support the stable power grid. Some ways that we can assist we're trying to assist the tribe right now is to provide, where can the tribe obtain the product? This is the product finder. Just recently, this has been updated, the diagram of maximum rebate per household. Previously, these two amounts here, meaning the dryer and the range, was only one amount. This has been divided now. So the dryer will be able to be installed in addition to, should the tribe select also the stove and or range or oven. All the products on this side, we are informing the tribes that they must be Energy Star. However, there are two products that are not Energy Star, and that is the electrical circuit panel upgrade and the electrical wiring upgrade. This is more like a diagram of what in the product caps, and these slides will be provided following this presentation. This is also more of a preview of what each item is in addition to the housing stocks, meaning housing stocks is a single family, multi-family, new construction, existing, owner, tribally owned, occupied, and or rental. So what we're doing is getting this information out to the tribes in the most layman's terms, and or we do want feedback if a tribe says, hey, can you define this? So we want to provide that process to be a positive experience when we give this information out. The program is for low income, and we're providing the low income 80% AMI, moderate income 150 AMI, and the area AMI is being determined by HUD. Again, these are the additional, the eligible technologies that is allowed per the allocation. We're constantly providing that technical guidance, meaning what is the point of sale, the importance of a qualified contractor. And it's important that they're qualified, but it's also important because the warranty, that success. So when somebody goes into a tribal home, that they have that positive experience, respecting the tribal member as well. Documentation, only for the FFRs, PPRs, we're just sharing all of as much communication with the tribes, and also working very closely with the tribal housing entities. We're providing the technical assistance program, meaning just recently the sample application templates have been listed on the tribal website, and we're hosting a tribal consortium theme office hours and the following office hours session for October, because it's very important that well, when we get into that later, we can have a side note on that. Again, technical assistance is being provided through NREL, and they are assisting that one-on-one, meaning there's a project budget justification workbook that the project officer just needs that assistance or has a few questions, not as much assistance, but just questions. We're providing that through NREL. Just recent activities that we've been doing, we go attending the Alaska Energy Conference in October 2024, having that one-on-one with tribes. We're currently providing one-on-one with tribes, meaning if a tribe wants a consultation, we will meet with them. As well, we constantly encouraging tribes to reach out to our tech team, to their introducing them to their project officers, and whatever is needed to start up the page application. If they're in there, what can we do to continually keep that application moving, or just getting them started? We've had multiple engagements here with many agencies, and so we're just continuing on. These are the news information that is on the tribal website, meaning the Consumer Protection Plan, tribal sample narrative, and also tribal frequently asked questions. We're going to provide additional resources. This is my information, as well as our NREL point of contact. And I thank you.
Thanks so much, Lisa. Appreciate it. We'll have a question and answer time after our three presenters. So I certainly have a few questions, and I'm sure other people do, but thank you so much. We'll go next to Rosie Ricketts. She's the Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant Technical Project Officer. And take it away, Rosie. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, thank you for inviting me to present. My name is Rosie Ricketts, and I'm a technical project officer for the EECBG Formula Grant Program. My region is the Southwest, 2 mountain states, Colorado and Utah, and Alaska. And each one of us has a specific region. So I'll just be presenting to cover all of the program, regardless of the region. Okay, let's get going. So can you see my screen? Let's make sure I could do that. Okay, good. Okay, so EECBG, Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant. Okay, so we've been provided funding of 8.8 million, 800 million for 774 tribes and Alaska Native villages and corporations. There are 23 tribes in the EPA Region 8, in EPA's Region 8, and the average available allocation is $10,270 to $22,570. And there's 14 flexible eligible use areas where this funding can be used. So for example, to develop a strategy to reduce energy in homes and or tribal facilities, community solar and storage installations, energy efficiency retrofits, such as heat pump installations, weatherization materials like window replacements or insulation. The funds can also be used for workplace development, for training, like energy auditors, and possibly creating a plan for housing rebate programs and other opportunities. They could be used to braid with like the Appliance, Electrification and Appliance rebate program. We have two, let me go to the next one. So the eligible activities can be, there's 14 for the traditional program. As I mentioned, you could do it for strategy development, technical consultant services, building energy audits, financial incentive programs, energy efficiency retrofits, and there's several others. Here's a few example of tribes that are already awarded and what they're using their funding for. So there's the tribe in California, and please excuse me if I can't pronounce the name of this tribe. I'm not even going to try. But they received $10,000. They're located in California, and they developed a strategic plan to increase renewable energy generation and connect the tribe to the local grid. So they received $10,000. They used their $10,000 for that. The next tribe got $10,040, and they used their funding to contribute to the cost of EV charging stations for public use on tribal trust lands. The next one updated its tribal energy plan to reduce carbon emissions and work towards energy sovereignty. The Muskogee Creek Nation has $42,290,000 allocated to them, and they funded certified energy manager trainings for the tribe's utility authority staff, who can later support benchmarking and energy saving performance contracting for tribal buildings. And Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, their allocation was $82,030, and they used theirs to conduct building energy audits and to create an energy savings plan. And the building energy audits performed by Choctaw could potentially be used to determine what they might apply for under Lisa's program. So there's two ways that a tribe can apply for this funding. They can do the traditional grant, the formula grants, which offers maximum flexibility for the 14 uses. They can use it to hire personnel. They can contract the work out to a company. They can hire staff. They can create programs. And why would they choose a grant? Again, flexible. It could be flexible to pursue a range of projects or multiple projects at a time. They can they can pay for significant admin cost or staff time, even including creating some kind of financing programs. The other option is a voucher program option that we created, and it's a more flexible and requires less reporting requirements. And that's why we created it, to minimize the reporting requirements. And so with the voucher, what they could do is they could use the allocation to either do equipment purchases and or request technical assistance, right? Or they can do both. Vouchers are a great option for those that want to purchase and install equipment or conduct straightforward analysis and planning. So how to decide between the two? Why should the traditional grants provide the maximum amount of flexibility? As I pointed out, funds can be drawn down as an advance under the traditional grant or as a reimbursement. With the voucher, it's a much smaller administrative burden for the tribe, which is great if you have capacity issues or resource restraints. It's essentially a shorter application with fewer reporting requirements. We can also review and process the application more quickly. And this is the route to go if you got a pretty straightforward project in mind. There are two kinds of vouchers: equipment rebates and technical assistance. You can apply for a voucher for an equipment rebate or technical assistance, or both, as I indicated. For the equipment rebates, this covers both equipment and installation. If you have a specific type of equipment in mind, you submit a shorter application to DOE for approval. Once DOE approves it, you can go out, purchase it, and then the DOE will reimburse the tribe for the equipment and the installation. Equipment examples could be EV chargers, LED street light fixtures, home installation, energy efficient home appliances, and more. For the technical assistance portion of the voucher, this type of voucher, you would submit a statement of work application to DOE. I'm so sorry. Can you hold on one second?
What's going on?
This is where we need hold music, Ben.
So sorry, they always seem to decide that they want to be known, be heard, right in the middle of a presentation. Okay, where was I? So you would submit a statement of work application to DOE for the technical assisting, explain what type of technical assistance is needed. Examples include energy planning, energy audits, project scoping, and more. Then DOE would assign a TA provider to execute the work, right? There are two main benefits. First, you don't have to go out and procure your own technical assistance provider. And second, technically, no money is exchanged. So there's significantly less reporting. The obvious downside is that you don't get to pick your own TA provider. Ultimately, the choice is the tribes. Either way, this is a highly flexible program, and the vouchers are simply an option that you can pursue if you have a straightforward project in mind. So technical assistance vouchers, as I pointed out, it could either be for technical assistance or the equipment rebates. So the other options that we've created or alternatives are either having tribes pool their funds together to let them go further. It reduces the application time and the efforts if tribes decide to pool their funds. So there would be one applicant representing another tribe. They both together could decide what they want to do with the funding. It'll consolidate the reporting requirements. That one tribe would be the one that would ensure the reports are completed. And then the other option is a consortium option. And that is where you'd have a lead tribe, and there could be many tribes that are participating. The lead tribe would enter into agreement with a third party, and that would be, either an intertribal organization or a nonprofit. And the nonprofit would actually be managing, would submit the application and be managing the grant after the fact, right? Once it's awarded. Yeah, so those are the two options for pooling and consortium. And then determining how to spend your EECBG program funds. Well, the first thing is to review your allocations, and then learn about eligible uses of funds to kind of get an idea of what you're interested in. Then you would choose the application type, whether you want to go traditional or voucher. And then consider whether you want to team with another tribe or other tribes. Then you would submit the application to DOE, but first you'd have to make sure you have a UEI, because that's like the first step. The traditional grants require a submission of a pre-award information sheet that is basically an indication that you're interested in applying. The actual application is completed in Page. The voucher program has its own portal. It's a separate application process, and you would be signed up and allowed to go into the portal and enter your information. So to prepare your application, you'd consider using EECBG's program application support. So one of the things that I do, and I'm one of 5 TPOs, technical project officers, I provide one-on-one support, as well as my peers do as well. So when a tribe has decided that they want to or are considering applying, they can contact me, and I will actually meet with them one-on-one, actually walk them through the pre-award information sheet so they'll have an understanding of what information is needed, and then just talk to them, right, and try to flesh out their ideas and what they're thinking they'd like to do. We'll also point them to the blueprints, which are really useful resources if they can't decide what it is they want to do, because the blueprints also have instructions on how to do things. And then they would submit the voucher application in the voucher portal, and the traditional grant in the Page platform. So DOE page system. So this is the page system that the traditional grant would be, the traditional application would be submitted. And once we get the pre-application, then we enter the tribe into this, and they'd get an invitation to start entering their information. The voucher portal has its own platform, and it would be the same way. They'd be entered in, and they'd get an email invite to begin the process. We also provide office hours to the tribes, and it's specific just to tribes. Again, one-on-one application support. And then we also connect project officers or voucher teams with technical assistance. So energy efficiency conservation strategy support, that is where technical assistance comes in, and we actually also use NRAIL to provide that technical assistance. We provide 10 to 20 hours of technical assistance to each applicant. We also have created a community fellows program, and I'm going to put in the chat one pager on the community fellows program where we try to match community fellows with tribes, and the tribes would host that community fellow, and the fellows can be, they can help with community outreach, they can help with application processing, they can help with just about anything that the tribe wants them to help with, right? And it's funded through DOE. So the tribe is paid through, and the fellowships last for about 18 months. And it's done on a competitive basis. So we have to locate fellows who want to apply. I'm sorry, hold on.
Energy fellows, as the tribe have to provide housing.
Okay, we have to locate fellows, and we ask that the tribes actually recommend young people or people that might be interested in becoming fellows. And then we also ask tribes to apply, and then it's a competitive process. And then there are the blueprints, and we also hold blueprint cohorts where we try to connect people that are interested in the blueprints with people that have already done projects, so they can ask questions and find out what challenges they have. So we also have cohort meetings so that people can learn about other people's projects and what type of situations they run into and challenges.
Rosie, can you hear me, Rosie?
I can.
Hi, do you hear an oversound over this talking?
Well, someone named PC was, I heard some talking from whoever
Yeah,
PC
I'm
was.
hearing some. Caleb?
Yeah, if
Hi,
everyone
Caleb.
could just make sure your sound is muted, your microphones are muted, I think that'll solve the problem. Thank you.
Okay, and so this is a link to
Hold on, Rosie. I hear a lot of people. I heard people talking in the background.
You still hear them? Because I don't hear them anymore.
Yeah, I do.
We aren't hearing them on our end, so maybe Lisa, it's in a different tab on yours end.
Yeah,
I think
no,
we're okay.
I'm just on the I'm not using headphones. I'm just on the speaker. Okay, we'll see. Okay, it's quiet now, but okay. All right.
Well, that's my last tab, so we're good. There's a link here to other information if you're interested. And like I said, I'm going to put the one pager about the community fellows in the chat. And in addition to this presentation, we're also having a webinar that's being hosted by us in NIHB on September 25th for tribes. We've reached out to all of the tribes and invited them to this webinar on our program. I'll put the link to the webinar registration in the chat as well, if you'd like to share that with any of the tribes that are present or any other tribes that you might know. Currently, we have 134 tribes signed up to attend this webinar, and it's on September 25th. Thank you for letting me share.
Thanks so much, Rosie. Lots of great information. It's a big program and lots of help available. And speaking of blueprints, We've got Dave Ribeiro here from the American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy, who's going to talk about the blueprints and the cohort supports. Let's go ahead, Dave. Thank you.
Great, thanks a bunch. And thanks, Ben and Caleb, for inviting me. It's great to be here. It's great to be talking with all of you. So like Caleb was saying, I'm going to be talking about a technical assistance program for EECBG. Rosie was mentioning the blueprint program and the cohorts associated with them. I am the director of local policy at ACEEE, and we are working with DOE to administer those cohorts. So I'll just take 5 or 10 minutes to walk through what those are. So the Blueprint Cohorts program is a key TA program offered to grantees. And the team of organizations is working to provide training and educational materials to build the capacity of local governments and tribes as they implement programs or as they consider what their programs might be. So in terms of the folks involved in this effort, there's a number of us. So ACEEE is leading the partner team, but it's a really great group of organizations that have very specific expertise and knowledge in the different areas that the blueprints are focused on, so they can be guides to the folks who opt into all of the cohorts. And I'll talk about their roles a little more in a second. But I know you might hear the term blueprint and sort of wonder what exactly does that mean. And I will say this slide and the next one are from DOE. So Rosie, if I misspeak, please jump in and correct me on it. But that being said, so in terms of the blueprints, the best way to get an understanding of what they are is just to go to the URL at the bottom of the screen there. But in a nutshell, there are 13 blueprints. They are listed in the blue box on the left-hand side of the screen there. As you can see, they're broken up between energy planning, energy efficiency, renewables, transportation, financing, and workforce. And the goal of them is to do a few things. It's to inspire high impact and effective projects, provide summaries on how to pursue those programs or those campaign types, highlight tools, provide suggestions for how to approach them, all of that good stuff. But beyond just having those blueprints available online, DOE wanted to provide a technical assistance ecosystem around it. So for each of those 13 blueprints, rather than just being PDFs that live on a web page, they decide to provide cohorts or groups of grantees or prospective grantees for each of those individual blueprints. So altogether, there will be 13 cohorts for each of those 13 blueprints. So they're going to be administered virtually throughout the EECBG grant period. They will convene folks on topic areas to foster interaction, collaboration, and networking. We will support grantees with questions and troubleshooting as they are envisioning their programs or starting to implement them, and provide practical and technical trainings. So here I just wanted to go one step under a little bit more detail than the last slide. So for folks who opt into one of these cohorts, this is what they're going to receive. The first one being virtual monthly meetings that explore a curriculum that has been developed for each of the 13 blueprints, and that will unfold over a period of 10 or so months. Presentations from experts, whether they are the organizations leading the specific cohorts or whether they are outside guest speakers who are experts in topics that come up each month. There will be interactive activities during the meetings to encourage folks to really talk about their projects and what their needs are and how the cohorts can really help them achieve their goals. There's also on-demand access to the leads of all of the cohorts through a communications hub called the Knowledge Hub. Everyone who joins will get a unique username and password and be able to peer exchange with folks in between calls on this website, and also pose questions to the cohort leads as well. And then throughout, there will be peer learning to share information and successes. So when did this program start? So we kicked things off in June. So we had a webinar to announce what this effort was, get into the details, and then we started offering content in July. So we had our first meeting of each cohort in July, and so we also ran them in August, and here we are in September. So we've had 3 months worth of calls for most of the cohorts at this point. That being said, even though this activity has started, you can always jump in at any time and join one of these cohorts, because the Knowledge Hub really preserves all of the information that has been shared up to this point, so folks can really jump in. And this activity will continue through April of next year. So I know I showed these organizations earlier, but I just wanted to give you a flavor for what each of us will be doing. So the folks on the left-hand side of the screen there, these are the Blueprint cohort leads. So they're going to be helping to navigate all of the cohort members through over the next 9-10 months. Then we're very happy to be working with the Alliance for Tribal Clean Energy as our tribal liaison. And then C40 Cities is another partner organization providing access to the Knowledge Hub and sourcing global best practices to offer cohort members as well. So I'm gonna not talk about this right now. I'll share the slide deck after this with Caleb and Ben to circulate, but for folks who want to have an understanding of who is doing what, this can help you do that. And I want to just go over a couple of common questions. So one, who's eligible to be in this? It's any local, tribal, or state government official, regardless of EECBG status. Can I only join a cohort if I'm implementing one of the blueprints? Absolutely not. These are meant to be educational resources. So if you are thinking about implementing a project related to the cohorts, you can focus on that project. Or if you just want to learn about the topic as well and you want to join, that's great as well. Can you join more than one cohort? Yes, folks can join as many as they like. I would say that there's a lot of content being offered through each of these cohorts. So if you do decide to join and you decide to join more than one, just don't overextend yourself. And then how much time should anyone expect to spend on cohort related work every month? This varies. At the end of the day, the minimum is 90 minutes because there are those monthly virtual meetings that are at least 90 minutes long. But other than that, it's sort of up to each jurisdiction to decide how they want to engage. Do they want to really partake in any office hours that are offered, or do they want to exchange, do peer exchange on the Knowledge Hub, that sort of thing. So in terms of next steps, if you're curious, you want to learn more, you can watch the kickoff webinar video that's on ACEEE's YouTube page. That goes into a lot more detail on the curriculums for each of these cohorts. Not enough time to get into that now. But if this is already something you're interested in pursuing, there is a follow-up survey that you could complete. I'll give you the link on the next slide. You can go in that, complete it, say which cohorts you want to be invited to. And then at that point, cohort leads take about a week to process the survey results. But after a week or so, you would hear from the cohort leads of the blueprint cohorts you're interested in with an invite to the first meeting, and then you would join the next meeting. So I know that was very fast. Hopefully that gave you a flavor for what the program is, and happy to take any questions. And this is the link to the survey that I was referring to before. And if you have questions after today, please feel free to contact me as well. So back to you, Caleb. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dave. That was wonderful. Well, let's do some question and answer. We've got some questions so far. The first one is for Lisa. If the tribe acts as the contractor, can some of the admin fees go towards workforce development?
Well, you would, the 20% admin is to run the program, and then the 80% is the procurement. So the tribe would need to, I'm not sure if the allocation maybe can be provided from EECBG, but the funding of the allocation is for the appliances and the admin of running the program. What we can do is, the answer is no, actually. So I'm sorry.
Great.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Easy answer, boiling it down to no.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I would like you, however, 50123 is a program under SCIP. The tribes we weren't very included in that. However, the tribes might be able to we can connect the tribes to that application, or if a tribe is looking to develop work for, looking for some kind of training for them, then we can take that offline and see how we can connect them. The ideal is to develop the workforce not, on tribal land, and that's part of the process, of course.
Do you what is the title of the 50123 program?
Let me get that. I'll look it up and have it before the end of the end of the event.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Sure.
We have one question. Rosie referred to 774 tribes. Are there 200 non-federal that are eligible?
The funding is for federally recognized tribes.
Federally recognized tribes. And Alaska Native corporations.
Correct.
Right, so that's where the extra numbers come from. Okay, great. And a quick follow-up there. Can the Alaska Native corporations and the villages that they serve, can they pool their funds together and work together since they're in the same geographical location?
That's kind of like the plan. And even like you have housing, like, okay, so I'm from Alaska, right? So we know that we have Alaska housing authorities in Alaska that are regionalized. And so we're hoping that everybody collaborates together, right? Yeah.
Well, we're doing the same as well. As far as developing consortiums, I'm going to drop the language there right now. What is being considered as an important part when they say coming together with collaborating. This language is in the process of being added to our one-pager. So we are having that clear communication, meaning there, because it's an allocation, there must be a lead tribe. They can be a third-party implementer. And so we are at the next event coming up in Alaska, that we are encouraging, as a matter of fact, because it's a benefit. It'll help the tribes coming into a consortium, saving funds on the admin because of the 20% cap.
Great, thank you. One quick follow-up question about that. Is there, do the consortiums, how formal do the consortiums need to be? Does there need to be some sort of formal agreement between the two, or can it just be a sort of, hey, these three tribes are going to work together and this one's going to be the lead?
There must be a resolution.
Go ahead, Lisa.
There must be a resolution made in place for who's going to be the lead resolution. This is still a government to government process. So meaning that follow the CFR. So we're going to do the resolutions, and then the resolution who's going to be the lead tribe, and then you're going to have the supporting documents of the tribes who will agree to participate. So we have two programs, and every program has their process. EECBG has one, and we have, they're very similar, of course, but with the Tribal Home Electrification Program, we'll require a resolution of who will be the lead tribe, and then a supporting letter of every tribe who is participating in that consortium. And that protects the integrity of the funding that's allocated to the tribes who have agreed to go into the a consortium.
Okay, great. Rosie, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
No, that's pretty much the process, except for we don't have the resolution part. We just have a letter from the tribal head.
Okay.
That's saying that they want to join, are okay with it. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Next question we have is for the EECBG Energy Fellows. Are the tribes expected to provide housing?
So, no, it's not expected, but we won't cover housing.
So they'll need some housing, but that won't be part of the EECBG program.
Correct.
Funding. Okay, great. And just a quick follow-up for Dave. I put Dave's the survey, the follow-up survey that Dave talked about for identifying which cohort you want to be part of. I put that link in the chat. So if anybody wants to click on that and take a look, it's a very quick survey. And then you'll get a follow-up email like Dave said. Are there any other questions before I have a couple of others myself, but I want to see if there's anybody else in the audience who has any questions. Anybody?
There is a question about, for both programs, can you provide some examples of third-party participants? And
Great.
as I mentioned, it could be intertribal organizations and even nonprofits. That could be the third party.
Also, a third party is a grant consultant.
Tribal organization, third party. Okay.
And so what I'm seeing are grant consultants, consultant agencies who have experience in writing grants and also are working with tribes. That is also known as a third-party implementer. And they're writing up, they're just doing the writing, the grant writing. The point of contact is still the tribe, whether it be their controller, their executive officer, whoever the chair delegates to oversee this program. But that is an example is what we're seeing right now. A tribal housing authority is a third-party implementer on or off tribal land as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have one more question. For the home energy rebates, there she is. For the home energy rebates program, how long does it typically take a tribe to apply for this? Because it seems like it's a fairly extensive program. If tribes want to do the rebate program, they need to have the consumer protection plan in place, and they need to do some income qualification, right? So how are tribes with limited capacity implementing this program?
I'd love to share that. Right now, we have a couple applications already in the queue, some from large tribes, some from smaller tribes. First starting is getting that paid registration going. Once the tribe registers in page, it takes about a week turnaround to activate that platform. Once the tribe is in there, it just depends. Some are taking a couple weeks, some are taking a couple months. The tribe determines that. We are providing that technical assistance that depends on their checklist. Some tribes, because it's end of year, keeping in mind those who have their grant cap on, know that the last 2 weeks of September is quarter year, we're end year, and people are wrapping up grants. And so right now, it may not be very engaging, but I assure you, come October 1st, I do expect more tribes to come on board. It could be, I say, up to 90 days. It depends on their narrative, because right now we're working on a document on having the CPP removed for tribes under $800,000 cap, but we're not there yet. Nonetheless, we have provided a consumer protection plan sample, meaning it's going to have those answers for those tribes that have that bandwidth and capacity issues. We're also with Enroll there. They provide that one-on-one with that one tribal member who has, say, they're the grant writer, they're also the school bus driver. And so that capacity, we're like, hey, what can we do? We're providing that concierge, not just the sample application, but that connection. I'm seeing a 90-day turnaround. keeping in mind our program just recently launched a few months back, April 4th, even though the application process buildup was maybe about 6 months to a year. And then once we're hoping to start seeing applications approved, I say early of 2025, but I say a good 90 days, depending the experience. See, they depending the experience, and that's why it's important to have these meetings and saying, you do know these resources are out there to help you. Here are those templates. You have that person to make that one-on-one with. And even though it is, it's a grant. It's a, even though it's a formula grant, it's still a grant. You're still submitting a 424, 424A budget narrative, justification workbook, resolution, simple standard checklist. What you see in other grants, it's just another agency. So we try to give them that soft landing that, hey, when you come here, I know it's DOE and this is a new site, but it's not Grant Solutions, it's not grants.gov. Yes, it's Page and just as friendly. Matter of fact, we're making a Page video just to streamline that experience for the tribes.
Great, thank you so much. We have a few minutes left. I did want to say I recognize that DOE and other federal agencies are bending over backwards to make these application processes as easy as possible. I've noticed a huge difference. So I just wanted to give you guys kudos for that and for listening to the tribes. It's amazing how all the templates and everything, fantastic work. So thank you for that. One last question before we go. We've got 5 minutes, and this is for all three of you. Looking ahead to Solar for All implementation, I don't know if you can talk about how well or how you are anticipating your programs to braid into Solar for All, but if you could just maybe give a couple of statements about how you see that happening so we can keep planning ahead, that would be wonderful.
So I'm going to start first because I'm not really that familiar with it. I haven't had really a chance to. I started in January, so I'm still ramping up, actually. But I'm hoping that they can braid with our program because we encourage solar. We heavily encourage solar. So hopefully we can be in a partnership with that program. Once I get up to speed, then I can answer your question more thoroughly.
Thanks, Rosie. Dave, do you have an opinion on that?
You know, I don't. I think that's something that would have to come from DOE, to be honest. So I can't exactly say how the programs would overlap. But I guess what I would say for folks interested in solar, you know, there's 4 blueprints focused on solar for EECBG, including the cohorts we talked about. So there are some experts in that space as well. So if that's something you want to dig in on, would definitely take a look at those cohorts.
Yeah, I think that's the answer right there. There's planning and planning for community solar and energy planning for the tribes and energy audits. So I think there's a lot of overlap with that program. So yeah, the cohorts would be a great way to start planning ahead.
Yeah, and also I do want to add that we are doing collaborative meetings with other agencies within the federal government to try to see where we can collaborate and work together. Solar for All is obviously an EPA project, but we have conversations and meetings going on between us to see how we can collaborate.
Right.
As a matter of fact, Caleb, after this meeting, I am meeting with EPA and another group of tribes. But Rosie nipped it on the bud right there. We meet with so many. I'm like, I don't know how many times I've seen you today, Rosie. I'm like, we are. It's all about getting the word out.
We're also going to be in Alaska together to do a presentation on this as well. So
yes, I consider it like a road show. I think one of the things that I'm looking in is just getting that how we can just continue to, like you said, with you I really think that having these kind of meetings is how we're going to collaborate.
Mm.
How introducing it. I will look into it. I know the program that we're doing over here with tribal home electrification, with ours is not solar, but I do know that there are other areas in other programs that we can connect in, like, hey, how can we connect it? But regarding if it's with EPA, they're on my email chain. What is it? Fast track. Yeah. We're just constantly working with as many agencies.
Well, that's great to hear. That is great to hear. And I will also be in Fairbanks, so I'll get to meet you guys in person then.
Oh my
Looking-
gosh, you're gonna be there, Kayla?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yes.
I'll come listen to your presentations. That'll be
Oh,
wonderful.
Oh, can't wait. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, all three of you, Lisa, Dave, Rosie. Thank you so much for being here and presenting. And it was wonderful to have you. And I agree. This kind of thing is how we get more collaboration going. So there will be many more. So thank you so much, and thanks for everyone for joining us. And we will be getting the slides out, and we'll have some follow-up resources. And it'll be again on the YouTube page. Ben, do you want to close us out?
I'll just say thank you to the presenters today. That was very enlightening, and I hear that we might want to have a Solar for All webinar down the road pretty soon here. So just want to note that we have these every other Wednesday. So our next webinar will be in 2 Wednesdays. So keep an eye out for what the topic will be. That's all I have. Thank you so much to everybody, and we'll see you all soon.
Thank you. It's nice meeting all of you.